Tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello, Sleepyheads! Welcome back to the Sleepy Hollow After Show here on AfterBuzz TV. God, it's good to be back. Been so long, haven't been here since January, and boy, is it wonderful to see you. Jacque Borowski is here.
Hi.
I'm here. I'm Matt Lieberman, and we have a new fellow here on the Sleepy Hollow podcast, a dear friend, Zach Wilson is here.
Hey guys, I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah.
Now, Matt, this is very misleading because you said we haven't been here since January. Now, you've been here since like 6 p.m.
That's true. I mean, this podcast.
Yes.
We haven't been here.
Matt doesn't leave the studio.
I don't leave the studio ever. But
Matt is Harry Potter, the boy who lived, and sleeps in the studio.
They're my Benjamin Franklin glasses.
Oh,
okay. They're my Ben Franklin glasses. I'm wearing Ben Franklin glasses. I've got a mustache. I look kind of Ned Flandersy right now. But the episode is season 2, episode 1. This is War. Unfortunately, Stephen Lemieux not joining us this evening. But that does not mean that the show will not be the show, and it also does not mean that the pun jar is not in effect. It was a rousing success last year with some $50-odd going to one Mr. Ryan Kiesling. And once again, the rules are anytime of us makes a terrible joke or a pun, 50 cents go into the jar. We're going to try to rack it up as high as we can go this year so that one of you can get a wonderful cash prize in a Twitter drawing at the end of the season. Okay, so this episode, guys, what a fun episode. And honestly, like, to me, and I know we use the B word too much on this after show, the B word being Buffy. But like for me, this episode encapsulated why to me this is the modern Buffy show. Like, we don't have like that sense of community that Buffy had, but it's so wild and fun and weird and scary. And I feel like this is just a modern successor. I can't let go of this comparison.
I feel that Buffy has paved the way, though, for a lot of these modern shows. Sleepy Hollow, it really does remind me of Sleepy Hollow. But also, I think like Grimm has writers from Buffy.
Grimm is like as close as you can get to Buffy
really?
today. Yeah, it's a bigger team, but Sleepy Hollow has that sort of that supernatural element that audiences are more accepting of now because of the stones and that Buffy and Angel got to
And it kind of has that same quirky characters thing where Angel and Spike were from a different time period, and because you have that in Ichabod Crane.
Yeah. And I felt like the opening of this episode could have been the opening of a season of Buffy. I think that's maybe where that comparison is coming from. Where we start with Ichabod scared and alone, and we're like, oh man, he's in the coffin, and then all of a sudden, happy birthday, Crane, and she's got a cupcake, and it's like oddly intimate as she's like giving him his 251st birthday celebration, and we're like, what? A year has passed? What? Katrina and Jenny died off camera? What?
I legitimately took out my phone and was like, did the show premiere last week and I missed an episode?
Exactly. Like, this is horrifying. I'm like, okay, well, it's very assured of itself. Maybe they'll do it all in flashbacks. Man, that's a bummer. I really wanted to see the Jenny-Abby relationship continue to develop. But okay, I guess this paves the way for the Abby-Ichabod romance. And also, I'm sure that Jacque Borowski is really happy because she hates Katrina.
I hate Katrina. But I when I was watching this with Zach, I kept having that moment of something's wrong.
Yeah.
And the both of us were like, something is wrong. And it's like, you knew this was the season premiere, and even though if you could have logicked it away with, oh, they're going to do it in flashbacks, I was still like, doesn't it rings false. Something rings false. And it was so interesting then to see that it turned out to be that. And you were like, how, they set it up perfectly where you as an audience member are like feeling it rings false in the back of your head. So you're feeling that Ichabod and Abby are probably feeling the whole time they're having these conversations.
It feels uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You're watching it, you're just like this,
Everything's working a little too easily. And while I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, Punjar, the moment for me where it's like it felt odd is when they're like talking about, okay, we trained all year for this. Are you ready? Yeah, I'm ready. And they go into they're summoned to this professor's home, his office, where he's afraid he's going to be murdered. And he has this tie to Benjamin Franklin and this key, and Headless attacks, and he's like, consecrated bullets, and she fires, and then she's like, I'm out. Callie's arrows. Fires. But at the same time, I'm like having a ball. Like, yeah,
it was
the
a great
show,
action
fun.
sequence.
it's fun. He takes out that crossbow and he's like, shh, let's go, let's ride.
Yeah, exactly.
And
I'm
you
like,
get the sense that they really are a team when you're watching this sequence. You're like, they got it down. Mm-hmm.
because they've been training all year.
Maybe they'll make out later. I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself.
This is the like.
Puncher.
This is the
What's
fun.
It's just a dream.
Ahead. Every
She didn't
time
even
we
mean
say
to.
ahead, fine.
You can't even use that word on this panel.
Accidental
Zach, you're
puncher.
new. Yeah.
But every time, like, what was I saying?
Every time that they, I don't know.
Do things.
Yeah.
Oh, but this is what this felt like the. Oh, this is a really clean-cut adventure show. Like, we start a new season and it's gonna be a fun-filled adventure. That's what this felt like. With the taking the guns out of the rack and then fighting their usual bad guy and like a comet, like the crime they're used to seeing with heads chopped off. It felt like what a bad writer would have done,
like a
with
spec
season
script
two.
of,
exactly.
of like just like someone who doesn't write for the show wrote an episode of Sleepy Hollow. It was like, yeah, and then Headless comes in and they've got the weapons because they've been training, and it's kind of like Blade, but not really.
And
you
then
know?
she just like remembers this one thing that her deceased sister said like a year or 3 years ago.
Well, don't discount that, because that sort of thing happens all the time. Dare I say that something is the secret to success is under the alarm clock. But I digress. One weird thing that like stuck out to me, and I didn't realize until we found out that everything was off, was that plant on the desk that was like growing a little bit. Did you notice that? And it's like, and Ichabod notices it. And he's like, huh, that's strange. And I'm like,
It's like that moment, and I likened it to that moment, like when you're dreaming and you're in this such an intense dream, and you notice something that kind of brings you out of it, like, oh, I'm still dreaming, and it was so little that I was like, and they're like putting you in that moment where you're like, you're totally in it, and you're like, oh, but that's weird, and then you kind of forget about it.
So they realize, oh man, we're kind of up a dead end. Maybe we should talk to your son, Henry, who we captured at some point this year. What? Okay. I guess this could be an interesting dynamic for the first couple of episodes. Good for them. Good for them for capturing this guy who, like, incapacitated them utterly the last time they were together. And so, yeah, it's
They
just like,
captured a horseman before.
I
It's
know,
not-
but that like took episodes of effort and work, and also he's like the Horseman of Death. He is strong and he's invulnerable, but he doesn't have magic powers. He doesn't have magic. Okay, magic animates him, but he doesn't have magic. So they go, and it is very Hannibal Lecter-y of just like, well, you have arrived. And I love John Noble so much.
Oh, he's so good as a villain.
I
It's
do
great.
like that he just wants plants for his little plant.
And I thought they were going to
collection.
bring him the plant that was growing.
Yes.
The weird plant. But no, it was a different plant. Yeah, he's like, well, he's asking all these like leading questions. Like, well, there's no sin in these documents. And they're like, you're kidding, right? It's the Hellfire Club. Benjamin Franklin was investigating the Hellfire Club. There's got to be tons of sin on him. Nope, no sin, but maybe your sister, Sheriff Corbin, was researching something sinny. Maybe you could tell me about that. It's like, and I'm like, are they really going to give him all this information? He's the he's the horseman of war. And he offers to eat her sins for her, and she's like, eat this. And they walk out, and Ichabod has that moment of just like, so like, I know we like have been doing all this stuff for a year, and like, we have a kid on the way. What? Like all this stuff. But I don't remember any of it happening. What is that? And we're like, oh no. Awesome.
Well, you think about that line that he dropped, that Henry dropped, because after last season, at the end of the season, like I'm just listening to any line he says, because anything can be tricked into believing a lie.
Yeah, exactly. And he lets slip that like one piece of information. Or Abby lets slip that one piece of information that this key, this Gehenna key that opens the door to purgatory, this Gehenna key might have been investigated by Corbin and Jenny, and that it may be in this Benjamin Franklin sketchbook. And of course now the illusion starts fading because he has exactly what he wants. Henry has exactly what he wants, and it's just so scary as all of it starts crumbling around and this coffin starts assembling around Ichabod. And like the effects and the design on this show are so seamless. Like this, they took great pains to make it look very cinematic. And especially, and I hate like knocking other shows, but like Jackie and I review Under the Dome, and like coming from that show where the effects are so wonky and the tunnels, the caves are so clearly styrofoam, to have like lush environments and like real scary caves is great.
And you can tell that they've been putting more money into their budget this season too.
Yeah, because it's a hit.
Yeah, there were a couple of things last season where you're like, that CGI doesn't really work, and this season you're like, no, it's like it's totally cinematic quality.
Yeah. So we kind of, I don't want to say ahead of ourselves again, because I feel like now it seems like I'm trying to do it on purpose. But we didn't even talk about, as they're investigating this thing. So we have this idea of this key that they discover when they're investigating the guy who got his head chopped off in the vision. And it brings back memories of Benjamin Franklin, who, as we learn, Ichabod Crane was his apprentice. And he does not like this guy at all, because Benjamin Franklin is a weirdo and a perv, and he likes having air baths at the end of the day.
just wagging it out and letting it free.
I love that before this episode started, I turned to Zach and I was like, did he have syphilis? And I was like, Google Benjamin Franklin syphilis. He's like, that's exactly what I'm Googling. So did he have syphilis?
I couldn't find it fast enough, but I believe there's a lot of rumors that he had venereal disease.
Sure, it makes sense.
Well, because they reference the fact that he was a womanizer in this episode, which I think, for me, part of the fun of having a show like Sleepy Hollow is when you do the flashbacks, and there haven't been a lot of television shows that really look into the colonial period. So it's interesting to see actual takes on these historical figures. Yeah. And what facts you can try and think of and glean from them. I also noticed though that he doesn't speak with a British accent.
No.
Yeah, but it was an interesting choice, because I think he clearly would have,
or at least he would have maybe been a bit more dignified. I don't know. He was played by Timothy Busfeld, who I love as an actor, and I think brings something like weirdly intense but not threatening to him. Like when he's saying, learn my alphabet, rise earlier, we're in a fight against evil here. You are my apprentice for a reason, because you are a witness. We know this. We're not telling you.
Well, he was very playful.
Yeah.
As opposed to any other founding father, any other historic figures that we meet, they're very intense. They're like, we must save the day. We must defeat evil. And Ben Franklin's like, let's go fly a kite, man.
But at the same time, he's not, though. Once it's raining, he's very intense. when the key isn't able to be destroyed. We learn that the whole reason we have electricity is because he was just trying to destroy this Gehenna key, which is just a fun thing to learn about life.
Or did Ben Franklin already know at that point, and he's just like, I know how electricity works. I'm going to use it to destroy this key. Whoops.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I feel like it was a double play. He calls it fire from the heavens. It's like, it's not necessarily about electricity.
Now I'm thinking of that song Pennies from Heaven.
Oh, sorry.
Pennies from Heaven. Sorry, it's late here. And
Yeah, no, we're taping this this show later than I think we've ever taped a show here at AfterBuzz. So we apologize for extra silliness.
Either way, Benjamin Franklin, the air is electric with ideas.
Punja. So we're at...
We're like 3.
No, we're at 150.
150.
So yeah, 3 puns.
3 puns.
3 puns,
yes.
$1.50. So yeah, we've got Benjamin Franklin in play here. And now the illusion has been shattered, and we're back in the real world, and we're stoked because we're like, yeah. What's so elegant about this is we were still able to relay a ton of information about the episode plot while doing this extended fake out. So, we got to see what that world would be like, and we liked it. And now we actually get to see the real deal and get the joy of watching our heroes escape from the predicament that they were in at the end of last season. Like, at the end of that finale, like, it just felt so hopeless. And I'm like, how are they going to escape? And we got to see it, and that's great. And we're going to talk about it in just a moment. But first, I want to talk about iTunes. Folks, I say it every episode, and only because it's the truth. We here at AfterBuzz TV produce over 80 hours of free podcast content every single week. It's a massive undertaking. Takes a lot of people, a lot of man hours, and we give it to you for the low price of free. So, if you felt inclined to help us out, what could you do? Don't send us your money. Don't send us your possessions. Don't send us your children. We don't know what to do with them. Instead, go to iTunes, rate and review the shows that you listen to or that you watch on YouTube. It's quick, it's easy, it's free, and it's the best way to make sure that you're helping us out. It's how we get our sponsors. It's how people find our shows. It's how we're able to get guests on our shows. And we want to be able to do that again this year. So help us out. Go to iTunes, rate and review the show, and you get a great shout out here on the show when you do so. We got a couple of reviews since we went off the air, and I want to read them real quick. Great podcast for a great show. 5 stars from Tiana Nicole. This podcast complements the show perfectly. The hosts are hilarious and creative. Matt and Steve have a great bromance that shines through, and they feed off each other very well. Can't wait for season 2. Pod Hollow Fangirl, 5 stars from Beatga. I loved this podcast last year as much, if not more, than the show. The commentators are knowledgeable and funny. Looking forward to season 2. Highly recommend these guys. Love Sleepy Hollow and these recaps. 5 stars from Keandrick. Love this show. Love the funny. Love the casting. Love the characters. The creepy gets a bit too much for me sometimes. LOL. But I can take because of the other stuff. Love these recaps too. Love the panel. They're fun together. Look forward to the 2nd season premiere and following along with the recap smiley face. Like hanging out with friends. 5 stars from CAC456. This is the best Sleepy Hollow podcast out there. The hosts are down to earth and funny, but they also provide interesting views about the story. Listening to this podcast makes my day. P.S. Jacque Borowski is so awesome.
Oh, does it really say that?
Yes, it does.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Jacque Borowski.
Yeah.
Name check.
Yeah.
So, folks, head over to that iTunes. We're sitting at about 160 reviews, ratings right now. And I honestly think we can double it this year. I think that we can get all the way up to, or wait, no, not 160, 120 something. My bad. 120 something. I think that we could double it, and I think we could get to 250 this year. I think that's not crazy.
That
I don't think
sounds like
that's
a
out of the
challenge.
question. I
Matt
challenge
Lieberman
you.
has
See that.
just challenged you, fans.
I throw it down from on high to make it happen. This is the only podcast out there with a pun jar and Sleepy Hollow.
Fans, I want to ask you, can you please help us out?
Yes. Oh, pun jar, $2. I get it, because he has an axe. Okay.
Back to thinking of what we were talking about right before we jumped into the iTunes thing.
Yeah.
I was just thinking that the reason among many reasons why I loved this season's premiere, was that we get that fake out where you're just like, that's weird, that's going on, and that's a cool effect. But then in the second part of the episode, we get what we actually want, which is to see exactly what happened at the moment that they all split up, which was everybody coming together and forming the team.
Again.
We could have just gotten it and we would have been fine with it, but like to tease us with that, and then we're like, oh, we're not gonna. Oh, we did. Oh, so
it makes you feel that much better when we get it.
Exactly.
And we did, and to see Ichabod figure out how to get out of his wooden prison was so much fun.
He used sulfur to blow it up, right?
Yeah. He blew up the soil. He blew up the sulfur in the soil to get out of the hole.
It's some bad soil.
It's some bad soil. It's the truth.
Well, it is near the 4 dead trees of terribleness.
Yeah, it's true. The 4 white trees. I love the moment where he's trying to record a video to Abby just in case he doesn't get out, and he's like, it didn't even record. Like, it's like Ichabod and technology is always fun to watch.
Hey, that was pretty impressive. He got to the
recording stage. Yeah,
he's learning.
High five.
He's learning.
He just hasn't quite figured out what a gigabyte is,
or how to drive.
I'm surprised though that he got the forward part of driving too, because figuring out how to turn it on and which pedal goes which is a feat in itself.
I feel like Abby maybe started to teach him.
Yeah.
Like a little bit.
He saw her enough, like, get in, put the key in, like, turn it. Like, you hear the engine kick over. And But he got into drive.
There you go. That's all you need.
That's all you need to rescue people.
Exactly.
In an ambulance.
In an ambulance. And so he's rushing off trying to find Jenny, who is in the clutches of Henry Parrish. Oh, snap. And he eats her sins, and she's like, I sinned a lot. I hope you choke on my sins. And I'm like, you go, Jenny. You're the best.
You know why Jenny's the best?
Why?
Because she uses a very slight distraction to turn it to her advantage. I was like, you go, girl. Like, she took that. It was almost
ringing?
like a Black Widow.
Yeah. From Marvel.
Yeah, it was almost like at that moment where it's like just that one distraction, and you can have a lot of leverage.
Even tied up, she's just like bam, 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 stab.
Exactly.
Yes, I was like, that happened. The knife throwing, we rewound it.
Yeah. No Irving this week, so Fran Janicki Merlving fans gag me with a spoon.
Mr. and Mrs. Bamf, for those
Mr.
of
and
you who are
Mrs.
not
Bamf.
Steve.
Yes, who are not Steve, who's not here to talk about his weird ship name, his OTP name, which is just so weird.
We had another, because we have Corbtrina, which is Corbin and Katrina.
Yes.
They go to Purgatory Prom together. You missed that one.
Oh,
Zach.
yeah. We got to do more songs and more fan fiction.
Yes, but we had a fan, and now I don't have my phone on me, but she tweeted what was probably a better name for Corbin and Katrina.
Oh, yeah?
I've retweeted it on my Twitter, so you can check it out. But Corbtrina, I like the way it's like a Fran Janicki Merlving, where you're like, this is terrible. But if you want an actual like good shipper name, she tweeted that one.
She tweeted that one, yeah. But at the same time, we have an obstacle in the way of Corbtrina, which is that she's no longer in purgatory. Yeah, I know. We'll get there. We'll get her back. We'll get her back in purgatory.
Better.
Am I the only one that's happy to see her?
Oh, no, I'm happy to see her. Just Jackie has an agenda. She is so
I have an
anti-Katrina.
agenda, and she is messing up that agenda. Plus, if you're a witch and you get captured that easily, boo sads, you are not a good witch.
Well, she clearly doesn't have her wand, so...
They don't have wands
she
here.
She doesn't use wands. She's tied up with, like, twine.
Look,
then she tries to stab him with a knife in his hand.
Well,
and
we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Okay.
I'm gonna count that one. Let's bring it up to 250. But we're gonna talk about that in a bit. I wanna finish out this escape. So Ichabod escapes. He gets Jenny's texts. But she's in a shootout. He gets this medical van, and he drives in and saves her, but he doesn't know how to reverse. So she takes it, and they drive away. And it's like, well, we got to find this key. If we're ever going to get Abby out of purgatory, we got to save her.
And he does make a note to himself to remember how to drive.
Yeah, he's got to learn how to drive.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, in purgatory, Abby is, just trying to survive, just trying to make it day by day in purgatory. When she sees Moloch, and then she's grabbed by
Zombie Andy!
dear friend Zombie Andy, who's still knocking around purgatory. He looks great.
He does.
Can't get rid of that guy.
He looks better than usually.
That's because it's just his soul and not his body.
Yeah, his head's on all straight.
Yeah.
He's got that going for him.
Very handsome. And still in love with our Miss Mills.
Yes.
Yeah.
The soul
our
doesn't
lieutenant.
forget.
No.
The soul does not forget.
Sorry, it's so late. So Abby's like, look, I need to find a way to talk to Crane. I gotta let him know because Moloch is raising an undead soul army, a demon army, to bring with him across the great boundaries of time and space, or purgatory.
Through the purgatory gate.
Yeah. And she's like, I gotta let him know. So he takes her to Moloch's lair, and it's suitably creepy.
Sorry.
Fire and skulls everywhere, and it's got this crazy mirror, which is
He's got that that star, kind of satanic looking star.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, made up of like little pieces of mirror.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it is how Katrina spoke to Ichabod and Abby last season. We get a question answered. This is how a good show relays information
Yes.
in an active fashion that also answers old small questions.
I feel like this is a dig against Under the Dome.
I didn't know what you're talking about. I don't know why I would do that. That would be highly unprofessional.
It was a question that I didn't even think about. Like, it never was something I was like, oh, but how did she do it? Like, but it was good to know that there was.
Jackie's rubbing her
reasons
eyes. Is
behind
she sleepy?
No, it's because
Plunger?
sometimes
Yeah.
I'm sleepy here at Sleepy Hollow. No, sometimes my eyes drool and they're like drooling tonight.
Okay.
For whatever reason.
For whatever reason.
The air conditioning's not even on to make them drool, so I have no idea.
Yeah. So yeah, she casts this incantation and she's able to speak to Ichabod. Does this happen before or after they get the key? Because they're still trying to figure out. They get
They're
the
still
sketchbook.
trying. No, this is
They don't have the
before.
key
They
yet.
don't have the key
Okay.
yet.
So yeah,
In the
she
little passenger-
she calls him
mirror.
and she's like, hey, he's bringing this demon army through. We don't want that to happen. What if you finding this key is exactly what they want? What if you coming to get me is exactly what they want? I mean, think about what they did with this, with this vision, with bringing us to purgatory and making us do half the work for them. You should find this thing and you should just secret it away. Don't come back for me. And he's like, Lieutenant, I can't do that. And we swoon.
This show is so trolling me. I'm like, I just want Ichabod to happen, and it's this close, and their faces are all closed, and I'm like,
Kiss. Yeah. No, he's got a wife. She's not dead like she was. That was probably your favorite part of the purgatory fake out in the beginning. It's like, yeah, she's dead.
dead. Oh, that's easy.
Perfect.
Perfect.
They'll just get
My
closer
plans have
and
aligned.
closer and closer. Yes.
They're destined to be together. They're both witnesses.
Zach,
you know
how do
when
you
you're
feel about
witnesses
that?
together, it happens.
Yeah, but when you work together and you make a relationship, things get complicated.
I mean, you mean, how do I feel about
Ichabod.
Yes.
I want to know your feelings.
I like them as friends. Like, and I also just
How
like.
dare
Sexual
you.
tension, friends?
I mean,
Friends who will one day bang?
no. I like Ichabod and Katrina. Maybe I just like Katrina because I have a thing for redheads, especially redheads who can just with their hands make magic stuff happen.
Be gone with you. Nicole Beharie is a goddess.
She is a goddess.
She is a goddess, and she's an
Nothing
incredible
against
actress.
Abby. I want
No.
her to find her own dude.
No.
Why should she
No,
just steal
her
somebody
dude-
else's?
You know something?
Katrina's so weak sauce.
Yeah. Okay.
She's like weak sauce in a bustier.
Let's talk about Katrina now, because it's just going to keep rattling around until we discuss it. So she has been kidnapped by the horseman of death, Abraham von Brunt, and she is...
I forgot his last name. I forgot his real person name, which is Abraham von Brunt.
Mm-hmm.
And Matt wrote Katrina and Brunt. I thought he was misspelling Brute because it was so late. And I was like, Matt, what is a Brunt? And he's like, Abraham von Brunt. So
If
I'm
I may-
apparently not very smart.
Jackie, if I may be brunt, Ponjar.
Ponjar.
Yeah. If I may be brunt, you're sleepy. So
Yeah,
you're not. I just wanted to make that
You
point.
have one too many heads to be brunt.
punch her. All right, so I think we're at 4. So Katrina's tied up. She's in a barn somewhere, some kind of
Old-timey barn.
This old-timey secret sex barn, and
It's so gross.
where she's struggling against her twine, and her hair not super high this season, so it can't be bouffant and full of secrets.
Yes.
Yeah.
She has minimized her secretive hair.
Minimize the secrets in her hair. She's told the secrets of her hair.
Well, this is where I'd love to get an idea of Katrina's power. Like, what exactly she could do.
Her
'Cause, like,
power is stabbing people with a table knife.
And trying to run and failing.
That is her full potential.
But this is what I mean, because, like, we just don't know, like, what the limits of a witch are. In this world, like, we know that she can, like, divine where stuff is with, like, a little stick in her hand. We know that witches can communicate between realms.
She can also cast a spell that keeps Ichabod alive for 250 years.
So,
and she can also protect the house where she's having birth.
but
Yeah.
she can't, like, cast a little, like, spark of flames behind her back to.
Well, you have to remember, she's been in purgatory for over 200 years.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. I would love to know what her.
I feel like either in the finale maybe they mentioned it, or there has to be some sort of explanation, because this show's too good of a show to not bring it full circle and explain why if we know she's been able to do big things like cheat death, why?
Oh, she absolutely said her powers are weak after purgatory.
Yeah.
But she was able to still do the divining spell in the woods.
Last season.
Yes.
Yes. I'm honestly, I'm more eager to see an opportunity to develop her as a character, because every bit of character development we've had from her has come from the past, and I want to know who she is today, who she is after having been in purgatory for all this time.
200.
I agree, because the only thing I got from this episode of her character is boobs. I didn't get magic.
We were okay with
I
that.
didn't get bouffant hair. Just boobs.
And a willingness to stab the horseman of death.
And a bustier.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, so...
Even after he walks
There
around.
has to be
in
more
his
to a
magic-
character than boobs.
Yeah,
There has to be.
So he comes in and he puts down a loaf of bread and he cuts open her restraints and he stabs the knife into the table. And
But Matt, you
Yeah.
skipped over his little, like, jaunt around without a shirt on.
no,
Oh,
that's
that's
in the
after.
Is that
second.
after?
That's
Oh,
the
yes.
second one. We're getting
Oh,
to that.
yes.
We're getting to
I
that.
apologize.
Yeah. So she takes like a tiny bite of bread, just to like see I'm eating. And then she stabs him right in the hand. She tries to run for it, but her bustles are not bustling enough, or they're it's too much bustle to hustle. And so he grabs her, he puts her back in that seat, and he's like, "Mwah, fine, you stew there a little while longer." Then he leaves, and he comes back, and he's just kind of like a guy coming home to his apartment. Like, he just kind of like saunters through the kitchen, and, you know, he takes his clothes off, whatever. He comes back, and brunt be cut, okay?
Well, here's the thing. I remember last season, a bunch of our fans were like, headless, and this is before we learned what he looked like with a head on, okay? Most of our fans were like, oh, headless is hot. Is it weird? But headless is hot.
Just
It was
because
like-
he's so buff.
Yeah, the consensus was that he had a nice body, and it was
And
just
now
funny
we-
because he
now
doesn't
we got
have
to
a
see
head.
it, and
it's
it's
like now we got to
very
see
nice.
it, and it's like his head really does leave much to be desired when we actually do see his head. You're like, it seems like much better when you can just imagine it without its
Exactly.
like curls.
See, like if I was her, I'd be like, take this cursed necklace off. I liked you better without the head. Like without the head, you got some stuff going on.
You're
man.
much more interesting without the whole above the neck region.
Exactly. So yeah, he goes by shirtless, and then he comes by in just kind of like date clothes. He's got a cream colored jacket, everything's clean, and then he puts on the same necklace that he had given her that Ichabod had picked out years and years and years ago, centuries ago. And now it's cursed,
It's cursed with see my face powers.
and no one wants to see that face. No,
No,
one. Not
it's
even
got
his mother.
he doesn't wear a wig, so he just has like weird, tendrily wispy curls.
And he's just like, I don't know. It's just kind of like
He's just bland.
What do you think about his face?
He's just a lot less threatening with his
He
head
is a
up.
lot less threatening.
A lot less threatening.
Like, he's not scary, but I think that's the point.
Yeah.
I do like this though because they have to come up with ways like last season where they had Zombie Andy speaking for him. They have to come up with ways
For him to communicate. Because he is a character. I love that about him.
Yes.
He is a
Yeah.
character. And we get a sense, once again, of his motivation this week of like, no. I didn't lose you, okay? Ichabod stole you from me. And you're going to be mine again because women are property and you're my property. See how that works? And I'm going to feed you bread and you're not going to stab me and you're going to look at my face every day and this is going to be our life for eternity now. Hooray!
Such a creeper.
Such a creeper. Jilted lover, creepy lover, don't like him. And hopefully Katrina, A, gets free. B, shows a little more ingenuity. C, we learn to like her a little bit more. Like, I like her because Ichabod likes her, but I want to like her on her own merits. I want to see her be interesting and funny. And I feel like the actress, Kati Winter, very capable of both of those things.
I feel like if you're going to have some of these, like me, the hardcore Ichabod shippers, it's like if you at all want to challenge that, you're going to have to make her a character that stands up to Abby.
Mm-hmm. And that's hard because she's
hard,
the best.
Because Abby is the best.
Yeah.
Oh, that shouldn't have to necessarily stand up to Abby, but like has to like do things in her own right, win in her own right. Because right now she's been winning by communicating with the team.
Yeah.
Now she's gotta. She's
just been winning on past wins. She's been skating by on winning his heart and having his baby, okay? And look, just because she was his baby mama 250 years ago does not mean that Ichabod has to be any kind of...
Well, I just mean she's been helping. She's the coach up in the skybox. Like, hey, the guy looks, he's like going a little slow on the left side, but you're like, that's not real helpful. You should be down here, like, on the field with us.
And Abby is the quarterback.
Yeah, she's the best. She's pretty.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jenny and Ichabod are puzzling over this sketchbook, and they realize it's written out in Benjamin Franklin's secret alphabet, an alphabet he designed himself, which I love these moments on Sleepy Hollow where we take little bit nuggets of history you didn't quite know about and apply them to this war on evil. And we learn that the key is somehow buried with the only person that Benjamin Franklin ever trusted, himself. Big sigh from Ichabod. Love it.
Because it's all about the Benjamin.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
Great
I
line.
He's
love
like, it
that.
certainly was. Love it. Tom Mison is just on point this week. So they realize, oh no, it's the secret to success is under the alarm clock.
I felt a minute of that, like, it seemed like a clock tower from Back to the Future moment.
I agree. They find a brick that says BF on it. It's like, boyfriend.
Not best friends or boyfriend.
Yeah, Benjamin Franklin.
Ichabod's,
You dick. Aw, Zach. Steven's gonna get jealous.
He is.
I know, he's very territorial.
He is. He's going to come back and slap all kinds of puns.
Yeah. He's
I
gonna,
say, bring it, Steven.
he's gonna knock your
Bring
block off. Yeah. No punch on that. That's fine. So they have the key, and Jenny's like, okay, well, let's do it. Let's go in there. And Ichabod's like, slow your roll, Jenny. Slow your roll, Jenster. You can't come with me because A, this is dangerous, and B, if I don't come back out, someone needs to carry on the good fight. All right. And he says the incantation from last season, and what an awesome effect, this mirror shatter and then all the shards flying through. It was just like, it was so very well done. So very well done. And he marches into purgatory after Abby. She's off looking for this amulet that Katrina gave her and she dropped last season. And she's looking for it. And I'm like, "Why, Abby, why are you talking out loud, all this stuff to yourself out loud? I gotta find this amulet. Gotta find it. Moloch's coming. This amulet, where is it? I need to find." And I'm like, she wouldn't be talking this much.
Also, it's I feel like fans of this show are smart enough, and I've said this on other shows, where you have to trust your fan base. You have to trust that they're following in the storyline. They just said, like 2 seconds earlier, that she was going to go look for the amulet. We understand why she's there. If she's doing motions of looking for things, we don't even need words.
I sort of took that as her starting to lose it. Like
in purgatory.
all the people around that we see are all are going about some task, but we don't get to be part of their purgatory world to know what they're doing. So I imagine that they are probably mumbling to themselves as well. I think that's purgatory getting to her.
Okay, I like that.
Okay, I like that
And then just when all hope seems to be lost, there he is, tall, dark, and handsome. He's like, I'm here, just like I promised. And she's like, oh. And he's like, oh, you're parched. Drink this. And we had just had Jenny a moment earlier, thankfully, because I probably would have forgotten, mention the rules of purgatory again. Don't eat or drink anything. Don't accept anything from anyone, or you'll be trapped there forever. And all of a sudden, the clarion cry of Lieutenant! And it's like, oh my God, Ichabod on Ichabod action. And
I remember too,
1,000
when she-
slash fics were born.
When she put that water to her lips, I was like, no! I screamed.
Yeah.
But yes, slash fic of Ichabod on Ichabod. I'm down with that.
Yeah.
Fans, we need fanfic.
Ichabod
start
on
with
Moloch
that.
Ichabod. Malabad.
Malabad.
Yeah, you know.
Shipping Moloch and Ichabod now?
Yeah, maybe a little.
Can dance together at Purgatory Prom.
Yes, Purgatory Prom. So yeah, we get this Ichabod on Ichabod fight, albeit out of focus, because I'm sure it must have been really fun on the day for Tom and Nicole to be doing a fight scene between the two of them, because they rarely get to do like stunts with
Right.
each other, and she climbs up on his back and he's bashing her against the tree, and I'm like, oh, I don't like seeing this. I don't like seeing them
exactly.
be physical and fight with each other. And then
Jackie wants to see him be physical.
Well, not in that way.
not in that way. Well, no, she wants him to bash her against a tree, but like with his front.
Yes,
Not with his
exactly.
back.
Like that wasn't like, I want it in like a sexy way, not in like I'm gonna try to kill
Well, that's
you
where
way.
it goes. This is how it starts.
Yeah,
Anyway.
to careless whisper. Anyway, so it's Ichabod on Ichabod, and it looks like our Ichabod beats down the other one, just because they kind of swap places a little bit in the moment that we're not looking. And he grabs the key, and he grabs Abby. He's like, come on, we gotta go. And he's like, all right, now we'll just say the incantation and we'll go. Finally, Lieutenant. And we're like,
No, false, liar face.
Jacques! And Abby immediately knows what's up, and she slices his head off, and we're like, hell yeah. And Ichabod's like, how'd you know it wasn't me? And she's like, because he didn't say Lieutenant. Stabs the sword into the ground. We're like, woo! Love you guys. Yeah.
That is a real team right there.
Right there. Boom. Teach you the rest later. And they get out of there just as Moloch is summoning his demon army. But there's a gate in front of Purgatory. Oh no, we use the key, we get out, and it closes just in time.
Now, maybe you guys can explain this to me. Why did the key dissolve when they exited?
It was a one-time use key.
They did establish that it's a...
I missed that.
yeah.
But they didn't establish it before that. They didn't know that it was a one-time use key.
I think they did.
Did they?
Yeah. I thought I heard them say that.
Folks, if you did hear them say that, tweet it out, let us know what happened, and we will tweet out your findings.
It's a
See-
one-way ticket. Like, you can't... There's no
See, if Ben
refunds,
Franklin
no-
would have known that, he could have just used it, opened it, went into Purgatory, and then stepped out, and the key would be dissolved.
It's too dangerous. Yeah, and he's too busy giving himself air baths. He's not interested.
He had women lined up around the corner. He had no time for going to Purgatory.
Yeah, that's why he invented the postal system, we'll come to discover, was just so that he could send apology letters to all the women that he wronged and make sure that they got there on time, or to send his child support. In any case, Abby is saved, and they have a little powwow, and they're like, we got out of there this time, but this is war. War has come to Sleepy Hollow, and we gotta be ready. Hell yeah, love it. Meanwhile, Henry Parrish is in this like underground lair. Is he just in the catacombs from last season?
I assume he is in the catacombs.
Okay. And he talks to Moloch. He's like, I'm sorry, my father,
Because
Moloch.
I felt that mirror was probably the mirror that Zombie Andy talked to Moloch through, right?
Oh, okay, yeah. We've also got this like sheet metal door on the side that like looks ominous. And he's like, I'm really sorry. He's like, it's okay, pal. We'll find another way to make my hell on earth happen.
He's very understanding.
He seems to be much nicer to Henry than he is to Zombie Andy. With Zombie Andy, he's like, no, you do my stuff. And with Henry,
He's
like,
a horseman. He needs him.
He does
And he's
need
like,
him.
you know what? Hey, man, you're a horseman, and you need a little confidence booster after this setback. Here, I'm going to send you horseman armor of your very own and a flaming sword of your very own. And you can control it with your soul. Which, like, honestly, when it was revealed that Henry was the Horseman of War, I was like, that's an odd choice, because he's not, like, physically intimidating. And I'm like, how are they going to contend with him in any kind of, like, way like the Horseman of Death? He doesn't look like a horseman. And this is our answer.
Although the thing that frustrated me was that it would be cool to see it play with your expectations in a way that it's not like, oh, we can clearly see this is an older actor who is a little bit out of shape, so we have to give him a young, fit body to take care of, instead of having it be like he puts on armor and does what we have on The Strain, which is an Abraham Satrakian old man kind of fighting sequence. I think I would have liked to have seen something like that.
Well, I think it works because he's effectively the leader of war. But who is the leader in war? It's the general. The general's not on the battlefield usually. The general is the one behind the scenes controlling everyone else as they go forward. So this is him controlling his horsemen from the sidelines.
I think that's a very astute observation. Okay, without further ado, I think it is time for the inaugural predictions of the season.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
So, what's the deal with Irving? Where is he?
Yeah.
Why don't we get any Irving action? I have to imagine he's in prison for the inexplicable murders that the Horsemen of Death caused last year.
Or probably like an insane asylum.
Maybe. Do you think he's in the same asylum that Jenny was in?
Oh, yeah, I think so. That would be a good...
Jenny was out of town, though. Was she in town or out of town?
It wasn't far.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's entirely possible. I'm very excited to see what's going on. We apparently have a new love interest for Abby that's going to be coming in around mid-season. It's just to complicate things.
Interesting.
It gives Ichabod an opportunity to realize what he's missing. Okay? He doesn't like that she's sharing her attention with someone else.
Well, I do, for storytelling purposes, want to see what they come up with, and hopefully it's not like the way I feel that Katrina is now, where it's like the other love interest just can't stand up to it. Now, if you brought in another character that you were like, wow, this character's really badass, then that's where the conflict comes in, and you're like, ooh, now I'm torn.
Mm-hmm. We'll have to be someone that really connects to Abby, and not just like, hey, we brought in this character to be a love interest, but somebody who she connects with for reasons beyond just he's another man in her life.
Well, he is an antiquities dealer who helps them with a horseman case, identifying artifacts. So he's part of the cause. He's a warrior for truth.
Because we had her last paramour, I forgot what his name was.
Oh my God!
But he was like
he was
just
worst.
There to be pretty.
Douchebag ex-boyfriend.
Yeah, and then didn't he just
wasn't
die?
It Nick?
I don't remember his name.
I don't know. He wasn't nice.
That's how much he weighed on the situation. We can't even remember his name.
Morales.
Nick Morales. I was right. Yeah, and he's just dead. Who cares? Let's move on. Let's get some fresh meat in here. All right, folks, I think that's going to be all for us this week. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to be here all season long, recapping Sleepy Hollow. Oh, sleepyheads, we love you. Zach Wilson, where can the people find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at @ZachWilson, ThatZachWilson, and also here at AfterBuzz. I'm doing The Strain with these lovely folks. What else have I got? Doctor Who Classics, Grace Point's coming up. Resurrection's coming back on Sunday.
Yeah.
And Grimm is coming back in a few weeks.
Wonderful. And Jacque Borowski.
At 123Jackie_B on Twitter, at 123JackieB on Instagram.
Okay. And you can find me on Twitter at Matt Lieberman. That's MattLieberman. You can also find all my videos for SourceFed and SourceFed Nerd on YouTube. You find me here doing the strain with these lovely folks. Ray Donovan finale. Under the Dome finale was tonight. Got Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on, Sons of Anarchy, The Nick, Doctor Who. Lots of great stuff. Thank you so much. See you.
From executive
Good night,
producers
Sleepy.
Maria
Yeah, so we
Menounos,
say-
Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Good
night, sleepyheads.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.